have an old book lying around? Would you love to transform it and restyle it into a beautiful journal? If you have ever thought of making a journal, this is by far the easiest way to get started and to become comfortable with the process. For the papers, I'm going to be using the everyday journal papers that have been created using my personal journal as the inspiration. I want to create a little mini everyday journal in an altered book form. And to completely restyle this book, I decided to create this beautiful collection of not only papers, but also wallpaper borders that you can use as tuck spots that match the colors of the everyday journal papers and are paired beautifully with the everyday journal ephemera kit, where I wanted to share 2 paper sheets of actual pages from my journals, little bunnies and flowers in pocket form and paper form. And I wanted to encompass everything that I love about the everyday journal into an ephemera kit. There's tags, there's coordinating pockets, there's a beautiful hanky index cards, a beautiful and functional ephemera kit inspired by the patterns and colors of summertime. A garden of floral tabs to inspire you and to guide you and aid you when journaling every day. If you're wanting to alter a book or create a journal for someone else or document your daily life, tabs are an excellent way to bookmark a specific memory, a special moment, a beautiful page, or even your own special thoughts. I created some larger tabs with a coordinating alphabet, as well as some smaller tabs with a small little alphabet so that you can add sentiments right on top of your tabs to add title pages to your journal. You want to start with an old book. This can be one from the thrift store or one that you already have on hand. I'm going to be using the existing book cover, the spine, and some of the inside pages. To give your old book a beautiful new base, I'm going to be cutting 2 pieces of paper to the size of our journal cover, leaving about 1 inch around the edges so that you can trim the corners. Easily fold the paper over, and this provides a blank surface that we can then begin to restyle and alter using our papers. Once your base has been covered, you can now begin to remove your pages. For every 1 page, I remove 15 to 20. This way you have enough pages to create an altered book, but it's not going to be too chunky that you can't close your journal once you begin decorating the inside pages. Add a strip of fabric onto your spine to cover up the existing spine. I'm using this beautiful piece of fabric, folding it over and making sure it's adhered perfectly. And then I'm taking my digitals printed on glossy paper to mimic the front cover and the back cover. Now you can start to bloom your decorations onto your book cover and completely restyle it. I am choosing these lovely letterings to put on the front cover to say bloom, as I wanted to make it really meaningful, and then on the inside I wanted to add some end papers using some of my digitals printed on glossy paper. And this is how my pages look like before we start to alter them and restyle them into beautiful pages.
I lose my breath whenever I see you. You stole my heart, what is it that you do?
To cover and decorate our inside pages, I like to use some of the digitals that I have created for the Everyday Journal kit. I also like to use papers that I have lying around from my scraps. Make sure you have papers that fit the dimensions of the book that you're restyling, and you can use the tiniest scrap pieces to the largest piece of paper. You can combine 2 different papers to create 1 page, and you can also use authentic antique ephemera as well as digitals. These are some of the papers that I'm going to be overlapping and folding over the pages. Just take 1 sheet of paper, fold it in half, or cut your papers so that you have individual pages to glue on to your altered book. I also have some pockets made out of magazine pages, using magazine layouts as background pages that then I can add pockets onto. This is an envelope digital from my shop that I'm going to use as a page, and then take a larger tab to use as a tuck spot on the side of the page, and you can put ephemera pieces inside of the little tuck spot, combining two pieces to make one page. And this is just an example of how my pages are going to look like before I take it to my sewing machine. You don't have to take it to a sewing machine. I like to do it as it adds a little decorative touch, and it also secures it a little bit more.
My life was great till you added colors. Like the moon needs the sun, we don't care about the others.
Once you have your page base already complete, or an idea of how you would like to decorate your book, you essentially just glue your pages right on top of your pre-existing book pages. Make sure to have a nice ratio of pages that you can journal on, pockets that you can add for text spots, and make sure you include the original pieces of the book to add more character. Here I am folding one of my papers over to make a fold over page, where you glue one side of your paper down and then you fold it over to the next side, and you cover two pieces of paper from your altered book. Here is a little example of how my pages are looking like thickness-wise when you're covering all of your bases with your paper. And now it's time to add some decoration, the extra little pizzazz to your pages. And this is when I like to take my bigger tabs to make text spots that I can then add ephemera to on the back and on the front. Here I'm taking a scrap piece of one of my digitals and turning them into a super easy floating pocket where I can then add more journaling and more mementos from my everyday life, adding some smaller tabs and trying to coordinate the colors the best that I can with the pages that are already in my book. Make sure you alternate your tabs, not repeating them in the same place. If you add a tab on the bottom, make sure you add the second tab on the top or on the side. You want your tabs to be blooming on the edges of your pages with the colors, the patterns, and the florals. And now I'm taking my ephemera pieces and just stuffing the little pockets. And probably my favorite part is when you can start to customize and add your titles and sentiments on top of your tags. I decided to add the "For You" so that when you see the cover it says bloom. When you open up this page it says "For You," because we all need to bloom for each other and for ourselves. Now for my smaller little tab, I didn't forget about them. I wanted to add a little lovely sentiment right on top. And if you'd like to see more behind the scenes photos or videos that I can't share on YouTube, definitely follow my Instagram where I share more frequently, and you can stay up to date to what's going on at Amity Bloom. And this is the completed Bloom book, completely restyled and altered from an old math book. We changed it and transformed it into something new, using modern pieces such as digitals, ephemera that means something to us, antique pieces such as wallpaper and postcards. You can customize and restyle your book into any theme and color palette that you would like. Stick to the flower theme or create something completely new. You can create these types of books for someone special. You can create them for yourself. If you're a beginner to journaling or to creating a journal, create yourself and completely restyle an altered book. Fill it up with what you love. Use magazine pieces. Use images that spark a smile when you turn to that page. Fill up a book with something that you love, and that book is going to become something that you adore. I hope that you guys absolutely loved this sweet little tutorial. Grab a book, grab some paper, and completely restyle it into something new.